He stopped in his tracks, staring at the woman selling balloons, never imagining she'd once been the reason he survived his darkest days. It was a chilly autumn morning when billionaire entrepreneur Arman Kapoor stepped out of his luxury sedan to take a walk down memory lane. His latest tech company had just gone public, and his face was on every financial magazine. But despite the fame and fortune, his heart felt strangely empty. Success hadn't brought him the peace he imagined. He wandered into an old neighborhood he hadn't visited in decades, a quiet street where he spent his early years before his parents tragically passed and he was moved to a foster home. The sounds, the smells, the narrow alleyways, it all came rushing back. He paused outside a tiny park, where he used to sit with his best friend, Meera. They had been inseparable. Two kids from broken homes, clinging to each other for warmth and laughter. Meera, with her big brown eyes and fearless spirit, was the only one who could make Arman smile through his grief. But when he was taken away, they lost touch. No letters, no calls, just silence. As Arman stood there lost in thought, he noticed a woman across the street setting up a bunch of colorful balloons. Her clothes were faded, her hands rough from labor, but something about her face made his heart skip. It was her. "Meera," he whispered, disbelief choking his voice. The woman looked up, startled. Their eyes met, a flicker of recognition. She blinked, dropped a balloon, and slowly walked toward him. "Arman?" she said softly, her voice cracking. Neither of them moved for a moment, frozen in the magic and sorrow of that instant. Then, without another word, they embraced tightly. 20 years of separation vanished like smoke in the wind. But Arman had no idea just how much Meera had endured, and what she had sacrificed to get there. They sat on a bench by the park, Arman in his tailored coat, Meera in her thin shawl, clutching a half-deflated balloon in her weathered hands. He couldn't stop staring at her. How could his childhood hero, the one who once protected him, fed him from her lunchbox, and wiped his tears, be living like this? "Meera, what happened?" he finally asked. She gave him a soft smile. "Life happened," she said, her voice calm but heavy. "After you left, my father lost his job. My mom got sick. I dropped out of school to take care of her. I've done everything from washing dishes to selling balloons to keep going." Arman felt his throat tighten. She was still the same strong Meera, but there was something new in her, an exhaustion she tried hard to hide. "I looked for you," she continued. "I wrote letters, but they came back. So I thought maybe you'd forgotten." He shook his head, emotion flooding his face. "I never forgot you. I was sent to another state. Foster homes, then scholarships. It all happened so fast. I thought maybe you had moved on." Meera nodded quietly. "We both survived, just differently." Then Arman asked what had been burning in his mind since he saw her. "Why are you selling balloons? You're too smart, too strong. You should be doing anything else." She sighed. "Because my younger brother is disabled. He needs care around the clock. I tried office jobs, but he kept getting sick. I couldn't leave him, so I sell balloons near his therapy center. It's the only way I can be close if something goes wrong." Tears welled in Arman's eyes. She had sacrificed everything, her education, her dreams, her youth, for her brother. He remembered how fiercely she used to protect him as a kid. Now she was doing the same for her family. He looked at her, a storm of emotions swirling inside. "You have no idea how much I owe you, Meera, and I'm not leaving this time." She smiled faintly. "You don't owe me anything, Arman. I'm just happy to see you again." But Arman knew better. This wasn't going to be a brief reunion. Something inside him had already changed. That night, Arman couldn't sleep. Meera's face haunted him, her tired eyes, that soft smile she wore even when life had clearly beaten her down. It felt unfair. She had been the strongest person he knew, and now she was holding herself together with fading hope and a bunch of worn-out balloons. The next morning, Arman arrived at the park earlier than usual. He found Meera setting up her small basket of balloons. "Good morning," she said, surprised. "You came back?" "I told you, I'm not going anywhere." She smiled again, that same humble smile, not knowing what he was about to do. Arman spent the whole day by her side, helping her sell balloons, talking, laughing, rediscovering the bond they had once shared. Passers-by watched curiously, surprised to see a man in a designer suit helping sell balloons on a street corner. By evening, when they packed up, he made a call from the car while Meera wasn't listening. "Get me a detailed medical setup at my villa. I need a full-time nurse, therapist, and equipment for a disabled young man, and tell my lawyer to prepare papers for a full scholarship foundation. Name it the Meera Trust." Meera had no idea what was coming. The next day, Arman showed up with a sleek black car and handed her an envelope. "What's this?" she asked, hesitating. "Read it," he said gently. Inside was a letter of employment, not for her, but for her brother. He would be under full care at a private facility designed by Arman's medical team, with 24/7 support. And her name was on the board of trustees of a new organization, the Meera Foundation, a non-profit for women and families in crisis. Tears rolled down Meera's cheeks as she read. "I don't deserve this, Arman." "You deserve more than this," he said, holding her hands. "You gave up everything for others. Now let someone do the same for you." She looked at him in disbelief. "I don't even know what to say." "Then don't say anything," he whispered. "Just let me stay. Let me fix what I couldn't when we were kids." Weeks turned into months, and Meera's life transformed. Her little home was replaced by a beautiful apartment close to her brother's rehabilitation center. She no longer sold balloons in the park. Instead, she ran the Meera Foundation, helping other struggling women just like she once was. With Arman's support and guidance, the foundation grew rapidly, changing hundreds of lives. But something even more profound had bloomed during that time. Every evening, after a long day of work, Meera and Arman would sit together, sometimes in silence, sometimes sharing stories from their youth. Their connection deepened in a way neither of them had expected. They weren't just old friends now. They had become each other's home. One evening, after the Foundation's first anniversary gala, Arman took her hand under the soft glow of fairy lights. "You know," he said, looking into her eyes, "finding you again, it healed something in me." Meera smiled. "And you saved everything that mattered to me." He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small box. "I don't want to ever lose you again." Meera gasped as he opened the box to reveal a simple, elegant ring. "Will you be the heart of this new chapter, Meera? Not just in the Foundation, but in my life?" Tears welled up in her eyes, but this time they weren't of pain. They were of overwhelming joy. "Yes, Arman," she whispered. 1,000 times, yes." The park where they had reunited became the place of their engagement celebration. Dozens of women and children whom Meera had helped stood around them, cheering, clapping, crying happy tears. It was more than a reunion. It was a story of faith, kindness, and how life brings people back, not just to remember, but to rewrite the ending. From balloons to blessings, Meera's life had come full circle. And it all began with one life-changing moment, when a billionaire saw his childhood best friend selling balloons and chose to stop, listen, and love.